The Philadelphia 76ers are 0-3 to start the 2023 NBA season. Is there cause for concern in Philadelphia? Apparently, Doc Rivers seems to think so. Let's take a
Honestly,
look.
I've been through these, and we're not ready yet. Honestly, we're just not. We're not ready to win yet. You can feel that, and so we got a lot of work to do. It was almost like we played these first two games hard, competed, and then felt like, okay, now we can win some games. You still got to go out and earn the game. Tuck was yelling that after the game, and he was right. No one's just going to give you a win. You have to go get it, and you have to do it a lot every night. You can't pick and choose when we're going to show up right now, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, so Doc Rivers, are you telling me, is that your sly way of getting on Embiid not being ready for the season? Just tell the truth. And you didn't want to say his name. We're just not ready. You can't pick and choose. So if I think about the 3 games they've played, if I consider how slow and sluggish Joel Embiid was on the first 2 games, and then this last game against the Spurs where he put up 40 points, is that what you're talking about, picking and choosing? Is that a dig on Joel Embiid? I'm not trying to put it out there, but it just seems a little questionable. You didn't want to really call his name out because when you called out Ben Simmons, you shut him down. So you want to be polite about, because James Harden has been showing up. I mean, he kind of didn't do too much with the Spurs, but he did he pick and choose his games too? Is this a dig? I mean, who is it? Is it your bench? What? So you said all that to say what? I don't know. I didn't like to hear that from Doc. I
didn't like to hear it either. But see, what stood out for me from the clip was him saying, "I've been through these." What are you talking about? You've been through these? What are you talking about? Losing streaks? Why is he the common denominator? Whether it's with the Clippers back in the day or now the Philadelphia 76ers. What are we talking about, Doc? I blame Doc Rivers for their slow start. The reason being is because during preseason, he was mic'd up and it was for everyone to hear. He was talking to James Harden and he said, look, there's a pecking order. It's you, Embiid first and then you. Everyone else will just have to get in where they fit in. No, that's a problem. I think Tyrese Maxey needs to be part of that equation. If Doc Rivers said Tyrese Maxey is the hardest worker in the room, why are we not showcasing? Why are you not exposing Tyrese Maxey? And I think that's the biggest problem that the Philadelphia 76ers are facing right now, aside from James Harden being the same James dribbling 50 million times before he, starts the offense.
I don't want to see a Philadelphia offense where the ball is not moving. I can't have the ball in James Harden's hands for 10 seconds on the shot clock. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And if James Harden doesn't dribble 2 times, drive or shoot, I'm going to need him to get the ball up. The James Harden of old, of Houston, may have worked, but it's not effective today. And I'm going to need for that to change. That bores me to death. And although he is getting his points, you can get your points, you can get your stat line up, but you're still losing. So what is most important? So the pecking order, whatever, 1, 2, 3, doesn't even matter. Doc Rivers, I'm still need for you to make adjustments during the game. We can't just have your game plan at the top of the game and then stick with it. Here we go again. Hence is why the Clippers did not, continue to exceed when they were in the bubble. You didn't make adjustments.
Yep.
Here we go again. Last playoff season, you didn't make adjustments. Here we are again, top of the season. You still can't make adjustments. If you're going to play with any adjustments, do it now. Do it now. So, Doc, are you the common denominator? Is it you? I can't. I don't want to hear that coming from Doc. He's been in the league too long. He's been coaching too long for him to say we're not ready. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no player wants to hear that from their leader. Nobody wants to hear that from the head coach. Like, come on, Doc. I think their offense is very predictable.
Oh my God.
As you're saying, he doesn't make adjustments. Okay, if I'm a defender, I'm like, all right, I know what you guys are going to do. James Harden's going to dribble the ball. He's going to pass it to Joel Embiid. And then Toby, Tyrese, and PJ Tucker, they're going to be standing along the perimeter.
Waiting.
Oh my goodness, that's just not going to do it. It's definitely not going to win games this season. And we've seen it very early with the 0-3 start.
You know what? Another thing, and I know they made off-season trades, and I get it. But that bench, Where is it?
I'm saying.
You mean to tell me in the first 3 games, the Philly bench only had 11 points
Mm.
and the Celtics bench had 34 points? The Philadelphia bench had 13 points in the Bucks game, and the Bucks had 29 points. The Philly bench had 10 points in the Spurs game, and the Spurs bench had 40. Who is coming off of the Philly bench that's going to
Yeah.
give you some production? Like, what? Do you not know you need more than just 5 players? You need a rotation. You need a bench. Who is going to come off the bench and jumpstart the offense again when it becomes stale and stagnant? Who going to do it?
Well, let's talk about Montrezl Harrell. You know, you and I were both excited about him coming over to the Sixers. Oh, reuniting with Doc Rivers. This is going to be great. I ain't seen nothing from Montrezl Harrell. Extremely disappointed.
Is this the right offense for him? Maybe it was not the right move because Montrezl Harrell can give you some hustle.
Yes.
He gonna get a rebound. What? He can't do that.
Well, let's look. Tobias Harris, you know, I think he deserves some of this blame here as well. He's on a max deal, hasn't performed up to that level. I'm looking at Matisse Thybulle coming off the bench and DeAnthony Melton, who's new to the 76ers. What are they doing? What about Korkmaz? He's been around. Gorgeous Niang. Where they at?
Where they at?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know, Doc likes to play veterans. Put them in.
Put them in. Let's take a look at the next 5 games for the Philadelphia 76ers. I have them playing against the Indiana Pacers. They play the Toronto Raptors in a semi back-to-back game, the Chicago Bulls, and they also are on the road for the Washington Wizards. How do you think they'll do?
I have them going 2-3. I have them losing to the Pacers and 1 loss to the Toronto Raptors. I think they'll win 1, lose 1. They'll beat Chicago, and I think they'll lose against the Wizards. The reason why I'm saying these losses is because if the Pacers bench and if that rookie on the Pacers put up another 27, even 19 points, and he will outplay the Philadelphia bench. If the bench does not give me anything from the Philadelphia 76ers, these other teams can potentially, their bench can outplay them. And I think that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying against the Pacers, Toronto, and the Wizards.
Okay. I had the Philadelphia 76ers going 3-2 on their next 5. I had them beating the Indiana Pacers. I mean, the Philly need a win. They cannot afford to go 0-4 to start the season. So I think they'll beat the Indiana Pacers. Now, the Toronto matchups will be tough. I know Scotty is nursing an ankle right now. Depends if he plays or not, but I still have the Sixers splitting their games against the Toronto Raptors. I have them losing to the Bulls, especially if DeMar DeRozan can get high, you know, and then Zach LaVine, and we talking about Ayo. So those are the reasons why I think the Sixers will lose. And then I think they can beat the Washington Wizards, who are playing pretty good to start the season. But I think the Sixers eventually, you know, as we get going, I think they're going to start warming up to each other.
I hope so. I hope so right now, but they still need more production from their bench. And I don't care how warm they get. If Joel Embiid and James Harden combine, along with maybe Maxey sliding in some points, if they can at least get 100 themselves, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.